Welcome to my channel. This is Ravinder Dundra. Today we will talk about this class 7 CBSE Geography first second chapter, that is inside our earth. In the previous lecture we have talked about environment, the first chapter of this geography. Now we will talk about the second chapter, that is inside our earth. In this we will discuss about what is there inside our earth. As you all know that what is there on the earth, on the surface of the earth, you all know, you see every day mountains, plains, plateaus, or different types of landforms on the surface of the earth. But have you ever wondered what is there inside the earth, what we can find inside the earth? In this chapter we will talk about this inside our earth, what we can find inside our earth. So let us see. So like an onion, our earth is made up of different layers. As you all know how an onion looks like, and if you start peeling the onion, you can find different types of layers. In the similar way, our earth is also made up of different types of layers. In that, the first one is, we call it as this crust. The topmost layer of the earth is known as crust. Then it is the thinnest layer among all the layers. The thinnest layer of this earth is the crust. Then it is about 35 kilometers on the continental mass. That means 35 kilometers above on the continental mass means, if you take this continents, the land surface, if you keep on digging inside the earth up to 35 kilometers, you can see this crust. Then below the crust you can find another layer, that is mantle. Then on the oceanic crust, it is only about 5 kilometers. Oceanic crust means on the surface, on the floor of the ocean, inside the ocean. If you dig inside the ocean up to 5 kilometers, we can find this crust. Then the main mineral constituents of the continental mass are silica and aluminium. That means on this continental mass, that means the place where the continent is there, the land is there, it is made up of this silica and aluminium. That is why together it is called as Cl. Si means silica, Al means aluminium. Then the oceanic crust, the oceanic floor, it is made up of two things. One is silica, second one is magnesium. Then it is called Sima. Sima means Si means silica, then Ma means. The next important layer of the earth is mantle. It is just below the crust. For example, if you take this earth, the shape of the earth is like this, then the topmost layer up to here, as I told, it is known as the crust, and below the crust, the next important layer, it is mantle. Then the depth of the mantle is almost like 2900 kilometers. That means from here to here it is 2900 kilometers. Then after the mantle, below the mantle you can find this is, that is, we call it as this core. That means the innermost layer of the earth is core, and the depth of the core is almost like 3500 kilometers. And in this you can also take two different types of core are there. One is inner core, second one is outer core. But in your textbook they haven't given you much about this inner core and outer core. So let us only discuss about this core. The depth of the core is, as I told, it is 3500 kilometers, and it is made up of two important minerals. One is nickel, second one is this iron, and together we call it as this knife. That means Ni for nickel, Fe means the chemical form name of iron, we call it as this ferrous. Then very important thing is that if you go deep into the earth, actually we cannot go deep into the earth. Here the temperatures are very hot in this core. It is having high temperatures and higher pressure. Can't even imagine, we can't even we can't even imagine how much temperature is there inside this core. As you all know, if we keep on going inside, the temperature, the pressure, it actually increases. Then overall, if you take the percentage according to this percentage wise, the crust is just only made up of 1% out of 100% of this earth land. The crust is, it is just only 1%. Then the mantle, it is the highest one, which is covering almost 84%. Then the core, again it is just only 15%. Then what is the radius of the earth? Very interesting fact. The radius of the earth is 6,371 kilometers. You all know what is this radius. For example, if this is a circle from here to here, the radius is 6,371. Next one is about rocks and minerals. First, let us talk about what is a rock. Rock means any natural mass mineral matter that makes up the earth's crust is called rock. Simply, you can say anything which is naturally formed and which consists, what is that, minerals, and which is found on the earth crust, we call it as this rock. Simply, you can say it should be formed naturally, it should consist minerals, and if it is found on the earth crust, we call it as this rocks. And there are mainly three different types of rocks. They are igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, as well as metamorphic rocks. In detail, we will see what are these igneous rocks, what are these sedimentary rocks, what are these metamorphic rocks. Now, let us talk about the first type of rocks. They are igneous rocks, and these rocks, they are also called as primary rocks. And let us see how these rocks are formed. These rocks, when molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Then these rocks are formed. Now we'll see how it is formed. For example, this is a place where volcano comes. So inside this volcano, what happens is there is something known as magma. When it comes out, we call it as this lava. And when this lava comes out, when it cools down, then it becomes solid. That solid part, we call it as this igneous rocks. And as I told, they are also called as this primary rocks. Then again, these primary rocks, they are made up of two different types of rocks. They are intrusive rocks as well as extrusive rocks. Igneous rocks, again, they are subdivided into two different types. One is intrusive rocks, the second one is extrusive rocks. We will see what are these intrusive rocks as well as extrusive in detail about these two different types of igneous rocks. One is the extrusive rocks, the second one is intrusive rocks. First, let us see what are these extrusive rocks. Extrusive rocks means, for example, as I told, when this lava comes out from inside, as I told, it is known as magma. When this comes out, it becomes lava, and whenever this lava comes out, it rapidly cools down because the temperatures are somewhat very cool on the surface of the earth compared to inside the earth. Therefore, it rapidly cools down. Then what happens is that this lava, it becomes into a solid pot. These rocks are known as extrusive rocks. That means when lava comes out, it rapidly cools down. When it cools down, it becomes very solid. So such type of rocks, we call it as this extrusive rocks. The best example, it is basalt. Basalt, as you all know, we all live in this we all know about this Deccan Plateau. Almost the southern part of India, it is made up of this basalt. The Deccan Plateau is made up of this basalt. Then the next one is the second type of rocks, igneous rocks or intrusive rocks. Sometimes this lava, it does not come out. Sometimes it will be flowing deep inside the earth and it cools down inside the earth. Then the rocks formed within the earth's crust, that means inside the earth's crust, we call them as this intrusive rocks. As you see, sometimes molten magma cools deep inside the earth's crust. That means it will not come out. Instead, it cools down inside the earth itself. Then also some types of rocks are formed. These rocks, we may call them as this intrusive rocks. And the best example is this the granite. And sometimes you all know in your homes, people use this grinding stones for making this pickles or whatever this. So these grinding stones are also the best example for this intrusive rocks. Now let us talk about this second type of rocks which we have to discuss is about this sedimentary rocks. We have seen what is this, what are these igneous rocks and what are the different types of igneous rocks. Now let us talk about this sedimentary rocks. These sedimentary rocks, how they form is that these igneous rocks, what happens is that they will roll down and crack and hit each other because of this different physical processes. What happens is that the igneous rocks, they roll down, they crack and they hit each other. When these processes occurs, what happens is that they will be broken into a small fragments, or we can also say small particles. These small particles, we may call them as these sediments. Again, if you can see that the igneous rocks, they'll be rolling down, they'll be cracking, or sometimes they'll be broken into small pieces. These small particles, we call them as sediments. And these sediments, again, they are transported by either by water, either by wind, or either by any other natural process. What they will do is that they will form into a layers of rocks. That means, for example, you can say they'll see you can see the sedimentary rocks in this manner. They'll form into different layers. How they form is that because all these small sediments, they are deposited in particular place like a layer. How they are deposited, by what factors they are deposited is that by these factors such as wind, water or any other natural processes. Then the next one is about this metamorphic rocks. How metamorphic rocks are formed is that igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. That means the first primary rocks are igneous rocks. These igneous rocks again they are turned into sedimentary rocks. Then again these sedimentary rocks they are turned into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. That means with the increasing in temperatures as well as with the highest pressure, these sedimentary rocks again they will be turned into this metamorphic rocks. For example, the clay changing into slate, then the limestone changing into marble. So this process of changing one type of rock into another type over a period of time, we call it as this rock cycle. That is the process of transformation of one type of rock into another type. That means, as we have seen, first the igneous rocks are formed, then these igneous rocks again they are slowly turned into sedimentary rocks. Again these sedimentary rocks now they are turned into these metamorphic rocks. That means the process of transforming one type of rocks into another type of rocks over a period of time, we may call it as this rock cycle, and it is a cyclical process which happens continuously or regularly. Then we have to discuss about this minerals. Minerals are simply, you can say, it is a combination of different types of rocks. That means rocks are made up of minerals, just before I told, and these minerals are highly useful in human life. In your higher sections, in your higher grades, you will learn more about these minerals. As of now, we have completed this inside our earth, where we have discussed what is there inside our earth, and we have also seen different types of rocks. Thank you.